Hello and welcome to my review of the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest magazine, issue 43. You've probably just watched the unboxing and first look, which I did many months ago. Let's review this issue 43. It comes with these thermic plasma regulators, which if you bought them separately from Games Workshop's web store are £17.50. So you're getting them at well over half price. You're still getting them cheaper than if you got them from a third-party retailer, which is fantastic, and it actually makes issue 44 a bit better value, even though I just have done an unboxing first look at issue 44, unboxing and review of issue 44, and basically said that, you know, the paint issues shouldn't be held up, they shouldn't be supported by the issues that offer more value. I strongly believe that every issue should offer you more value, and you shouldn't be out of pocket. By that I mean if it includes a paint or two paints that are less than the £7.99, I don't think that's acceptable in my opinion, because you're paying your £32 by direct debit, it's guaranteed cash for them, and I think that every issue should give you better value than going out and spending your money in Games Workshop stores. That's the whole point of this, right? Anyway, let's have a look. We'll have a look at the scenery pieces in a moment, but let's just have a recap of the magazine, which I think I probably just did a video and had a first look for. But you've got some successor chapters for the Blood Angels there. I like that one. The Lamenters with the heart, that's pretty cool. Demons of Nurgle, Beasts of Nurgle, and some Demon Rotflies. Armies of the Imperium, you've got Adeptus Astartes, Astra Militarum, Adeptus Mechanicus and Grey Knights. I don't know where Death Watch comes in all those, or Custodes, or Sisters of Battle. Anyway, Hope Rekindled, Return of Roboot Gulliman, and Warzone Cadia. Armies of the Imperium, Forces of Chaos regarding Cadia, and then how to build the thermic plasma regulators. They're very quick and easy to build. Look, they literally consist of 4 parts or so each. The only downside is there are quite a few mould lines, especially because they come in 2 parts. You're going to have join lines all the way down the middle, which kind of sucks. I'll show you those in a moment, but you just have to file them away. They haven't. It looks like they've left them, which can be quite problematic, but I would always suggest you file them down. How to paint them. I do like the kind of bone colour that they've gone for the grating. I think that works very well. And yeah, although they haven't painted the blue, they do in a future issue show you how to paint plasma, which I'll have to look at in a moment at some point. It gives you the regulator rules, which is quite nice, and fuel for the forge, and then a preview of the next 2 issues, which unfortunately, yeah, you get 2 points in issue 44, so that will be a first look and review all in one video. And then issue 45 is the Scouts. I might put all of those 3 videos in 1 week. It might be next week, but that will be 3 days worth of videos, and that's 3 days where we could have review videos of the Spheranx, or more Sisters of Battle, or even some Adeptus Titanicus. See where I'm coming from? These videos, although they're nice to have, they do push the new release videos back, and I'd rather cover the new release videos you know, as quick as possible, because otherwise there'll be complaints regarding the timing of me releasing those videos too, and then there's complaints on both sides. Anyway, let's have a look at these models themselves. On the outside they look exactly the same, but they're not. They're both different, which is fantastic. They share some similarities, only in like the ladders and some of the pipes and things, but the makeup of where the tubing is all different. The vents are different. Even these catwalks are different if you look at the detail there. Obviously the front, or whatever side you want to call this, that's the same, and you can see that you will have some issues with the join line, so you've got to get a file in there and really give them a good file after you've slotted them together and glued them together. But yeah, that's an alright amount of detail. Definitely if you spray them lead belcher, and wash them, shade them with Null oil, and then once that's completely dry, give them a light dry brush of Necron compound, and then if you want, you can go and you know, paint the detailing of all the wires and the tubing and things. They'll really come out a treat, and excellent addition to the other scenic pieces that you've already got in this collection. I do like that you get scenery in this collection because it allows me to see scenery that I wouldn't normally buy. I don't game much, so this collection has allowed me to have access to the scenery pieces that I wouldn't normally pick up. I mainly buy the models for the armies I collect, and if they're new releases for the channel as well. So they are the thermic plasma regulators. What I'll do is just show you some comparisons with some of the other scenery pieces. So I've got a few things here, about 3 things. So here are like the Riser ruins, just to give you like a size comparison with them. They do stand quite proud. I haven't built the hemotrope reactors, but the hemotrope reactors already look taller, slightly taller than these regulators. But compared to the ruins, you know, the wall ruins look, you know, are a fair bit smaller. I've got a piece of pipe in here. Maybe you could attach the pipe to one of them. They fit very well. I wouldn't bother gluing the pipe work on unless you're making a board and you want all the scenery pieces to be static. But yeah, it is possible to you know, use these regulators with the pipeline, and to great effect. I mean, this looks really cool. You know, you can join up your scenery and have, you know, create much larger complex scenery areas every time you game. I've got an armoured container just lurking in the background, and yeah, compared to these, I mean, yeah, probably double the height if I grab another one. Remember, we had 3 issues where you had 3 of these, but yeah, they're a little bit shorter than 2 stacked on top of each other. But yeah, you know, you can make all kinds of configurations. It looks really cool. Anyway, they're the size comparisons with the other scenery pieces that we've got so far in the collection. But I'm guessing you want to see a size comparison with a few other models. So here's a Chaos Knight. No, I'm just joking. I'll show you some 40k comparisons. So here is a normal Space Marine on the left and a Primaris on the right. We also have a Redemptor Dreadnought. Redemptor Dreadnought is smaller than these thermic plasma regulators, but the Space Marines look really good on the top here. They look fine. And then compared to some Death Guard minis, that's how big they are compared to the Mythic Blight Hauler and Lord Felthius, which is just a Terminator Death Guard. So hopefully those size comparisons have helped. They're certainly bigger than I expected, and I think the hemotrope reactors also are larger than I am expecting too. So nice big chunky scenery pieces to add to your collection, and I'm pleased that they've included them in this subscription, and at way less than half price of what they would normally cost. But it wouldn't be a full review without me going through some of the rules for them. Now, there are some of the rules in the... Now, the rules are covered in issue 43, which is great. They talk about hazardous cover, whereby you roll a d6 every time you make a saving throw of 7+, usually a roll of 6 plus 1 for being in cover. For every model within 3 inches of any terrain feature with this ability in the shooting phase, on rolling a 1, the model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So, you know, standing by these things can backfire and cause some damage to your own unit, so just be wary of that. In the 2018 chapter approved book, they do have a section on Imperial scenery, and it goes on to say The thermic plasma regulators follow all the rules for sector mechanicus structures, but they also have the hazardous cover ability. See hemotrope reactors. And then if you look at sector mechanicus, now sector mechanicus structures follow all the rules for ruins with the following difference. So again, it's like rules upon rules upon rules. Cells within cells within cells, cells. It says, unless they can fly, infantry, beasts and swarms must scale ladders, girders or walls to ascend or descend between different levels of a sector mechanicus structure. Infantry are also assumed to be able to traverse around girders, buttresses and hanging chains, and so move through them without impediment. So basically it just says you've got to use the ladders. Unless they can fly, then infantry, beasts and swarms have to scale using the ladders. Looking at the ruins side of things, only infantry, beasts, swarms and units that can fly can be set up or end their move on the upper floors of ruins. Infantry assumed to be able to scale the walls and traverse through windows, doors and portals readily. These models can therefore move through the floors and walls of a room without further impediment. Infantry units that are entirely or within a ruin receive the benefit of cover. Other units that are entirely on or within a ruin only receive the benefit of cover if at least 50% of every model is scored from the point of view of the shooting model. And then the hemotrope reactors, the hazardous cover there, says roll a d6 each time you make a saving throw of 7+. Such a roll of 6 plus 1 for being cover for a model within 3 inches of any terrain features with this ability in the shooting phase. On a 1, the model's unit suffers 1 mortal wound. So the way I can read this is, say you get a roll of a 6 on your save, then you add 1 and then that makes it a 7+ basically. You basically then roll another d6 and then on a 1 you get a mortal wound, which is possible. You know, if you've got a swarm of enemies or something around that within 3 inches of it, you know, and you're getting a lot of 6s, you're then going to have to roll another load of d6s, and if you get a few 1s, then they're going to be blown up. In my opinion, it's quite difficult to understand, but essentially the way I would see it is if your miniatures are really hunkered down, it basically means that they've used as much scenery as possible to get that extra save, so they're more than covered, but that means that any fire coming at them, I would guess is hitting most of the structure. So that's why you have to then roll that extra d6, but then if you're really unlucky, it's going to hit something fragile on a 1 and you know, kill your units outright, unless they've got their you know, invulnerable saves, I guess. But that begs the question, if they've already made a save, they wouldn't then get another save on a mortal wound. I think they would just lose a wound. That's the way I'm reading it anyway. It's a little bit complicated the way it's worded, but I hope you've found some enlightenment from the way I've described it. Anyway, I really like these thermic plasma regulators. I think they're awesome. I can't wait to build the hemotrope reactors, because that's the first experience of them I will have, and I'll put them side by side obviously in their review. What do you guys think of the models and the rules? Do you use them in your games of 40k, and have you had any awesome mishaps in any of your games with them? And do you like to join them up, you know, from one side of the board to the other with loads and loads of pipes? Please do put your comments and things down below. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor protects.